Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Well, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio tonight. We're joined by the two elder statesmen of the show, Bridgeman and AK. Evening, gentlemen.
Evening, Oxshire. Evening, Bridgeman. Evening, the Rangers Radio listeners.
Can I just say a big good evening to you guys, and of course, Oxshire and your technical geniuses in the background, and to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
How you doing, AK?
I'm back on the solids now, pal. But I'm back.
That's the difference, mate. It takes us a fortnight, you're 2 days, you know what I mean? That's the difference, Bridge, isn't it? You need to show him how to work that mute button, mate. I know it's complicated, but you need to show him how to work it. He's a bit rusty, he's been away.
I know, it didn't take him long, did it?
No, I remember he used to get 3 months at a time. Now he goes 2 weeks cruising. Some change. Anyway, AK, we've not really heard from you. Here's your thoughts. Here's what you're thinking. Here's your hopes, your dreams, and your aspirations, mate. In fact, just give us all. I'll go and mute, and then when you're finished, we'll play the tune, all right?
That's what it would take me up to an hour to dismantle that performance at the weekend, but nah, pathetic, Ox. The guys, you just covered that a lot last night. First 5-10 minutes, as we all know, we started really well, and oh, aye, your beauty, started well here, but we didn't take our opportunities. I described it as like a boxer, kind of having a look at him for the first round or two, seeing that he never had anything, and then just, well, we're just going to punish you. And that's what it looked like to me. When that disallowed goal went in, instead of going, gather round about and look at each other, say, come on, we need to do better. We completely capitulated, I thought, for there. It could have been anything. It was 3-0 going on 5 or 6 for me, but we also could have scored 2 or 3 ourselves.
Aye, we could have done, mate, but it's all our buts and maybes, and it's about when you score, because goals change games. Anyway, I believe the Bridgeman is with us now. Evening, Bridge.
Good evening. Sorry, folks. The game was a travesty for us. We're our own worst enemy once again. As Kelso said there, when you're playing the first, let's say, 5-10 minutes, and you're the one on the press, you're the one that's attacking, and everything's looking good for you, and all of a sudden it stops, and I don't know why it stopped. I don't think anybody understands why it stopped, and that gave it a wee lull, and then they just came back into it. And as Kelso said, it could have easily been 5 or 6 for them, and to be honest, we should have scored 2 or 3 ourselves, given that. So that could easily have been one of these high-scoring games for both sides. But no, we can't do it. For some reason, we just can't play against that team. For some reason.
Aye. Listen, I've got my thoughts on it, but I think I've jabbed away and punched away and given enough clues. But I think he's your summing up, mate.
Again, listening to you last night, yourself and Southside, I thought it was pretty honest appraisals of the two of you. Certainly the callers that came in were pretty honest. I know we were, it might sound a bit we weren't speaking last on Friday night, put it that way. But
and rightly so, mate, rightly so. Even if you're that boxer getting into the ring, you think you can win it. If you don't, what's the point? Yeah.
Aye, well, that's the way I've been brought up, Ox. I think most is like that. It's not in our DNA to gear up before a ball's kicked. Certainly not in my household, But I think once we've seen the game materialise and the players go into their shells again, they've just got that mental baggage in their head now. Every time they go to Celtic Park, it's just capitulation, and it's no good enough. Not good enough for our team, not good enough for our support, manager, everybody connected with the club. And I think a lot of frustrations has come out in that.
Bridge, you're an experienced man. You've watched Rangers teams through William Milton right through to Clement, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, how much responsibility does a manager take? They always carry the can, and sometimes in football you think it's a bit harsh, but they always do. That's modern football. But when you look at it, how much responsibility are you throwing his way?
Well, to be honest, I think whatever's happening is still happening. With the problems that were happening at the tail end of last season, given the fact that a lot of players left, it's still happening on the pitch. And I don't know if he knows how to get there with the players. I don't know what's happening in the training, why players are getting injured. My theory is that they're getting booted all over the park after the opposition, and they don't know how to kind of look after themselves. However, I think the manager is 100% responsible for what's been happening. There's nobody else. You can't turn around and say the players never tried, because they were trying for a while. But the manager couldn't change it. Maybe he didn't feel he had the staff capable of doing it. And some of the staff that we had on the pitch for a few 10 minutes or so, you saw they played quite well, and all of a sudden they just stopped playing and stopped taking. In some instances, looked as if they stopped taking part in the game at all. Now, all of that is a manager's responsibility. I don't hate the manager. Can I just say I do not hate the manager? I think the manager is brilliant. I just want him to get it right. And I want the players to get it right for themselves on the pitch, particularly against the serious opposition like they are. And that's their political games got them the no Rangers fans at that game at the weekend, and it was just a celebration. It was a massive celebration for them. That's the way it turned out. And Rangers need to watch out what they're doing, because they're going to end up running out of fans that really want to be there all the time. For me, they need to watch what we're doing. We're it's like 2012 again, Oxford. Can I just say that? It's like 2012. We're having to start again. And
I don't see that, mate. I don't see anything.
That. I'm just saying, for me, it just feels like 2012 again, because no matter what we do, we can't.
I think it feels like the same old movie, and I get that, because we've not competed in that, but nothing in a footballing sense in the club will never, if you like, a sporting sense will never ever replicate 2012 AK. And then obviously we had something that happened 40 years previous, and that is even worse than 2012, mate. I don't think AK gives your thoughts on that,
Aye, well, that's personal tragedy that he's in it. Both is, well, collectively as a club, but I know what you're saying. But I actually mentioned that a wee while ago there, Bridget, when Clement was starting to take a bit of criticism off the support. I think he's got as hard a job, if no harder than a job, than when Gerrard came in and took after Caixinha for the rebuild, because at least Gerrard got the availability of money, and he already had a Morelos there, a Tavernier, a young Tavernier there, McGregor and Jack. He had something to build on. At the moment, right now, that team, when you look at it, I mean, Chris Boyd summed it up. Would any of the Rangers players get in the Celtic team now? Would they even go on the bench? You're really struggling. And that's where I feel sorry for the man. But that's up to the board to give them the tools to compete, to win trophies, to win leagues.
I was speaking to somebody today, and I'll bring Bridge back in a minute, but I was speaking to somebody today, and the $24 question or $24 million question is these the players that the manager wanted? Are you judging him and what he's getting? That's what we'll never know. That's always a tough one, Bridge, isn't
it? See, I have to say, I can't even explain what I feel. I'm so sad for the club, the whole club. I'm so sad for them. But somewhere along the line, we've shot ourselves in the foot, and there's a couple of things that's happened that has caused us to shoot ourselves in the foot, right up to the point where we kind of get our fans into Ibrox. And apparently, even though the game, we're going back to Ibrox on the 21st of September, but that's gone without the Copeland Road. Dan. So it's all of that's really difficult to take in. So we're still beating ourselves up constantly. And this manager, he's a big, strong character, and he seems to be able to carry it, but he doesn't have the tools. He just doesn't have them. And now these guys that are sitting injured and he can't get selecting them and so on and so forth, that's all got to stop. He's got to get it all right and make sure it happens properly for Rangers. Otherwise, we're just going to sail along. And looking at, based on just on the league today, we'll not beat Aberdeen. Aberdeen will be in front of us in the league.
I think if you look at Aberdeen's fixtures, Bridge, and when they've played the teams, a couple of teams they've come back after European games on the Thursday night. I think if you look at them, I'm not saying that we're know where we are, but I think they might be in a slightly false position. I wouldn't get too carried away with that, but you never know. They could go on a run. Stranger things have happened. Leicester City down south, AK.
I know what you're saying. They've still got to win their matches right enough, but I know what you're saying. They've been a favourable draw, shall we say. But listen, Hearts away the first game, and then the Celtic away the fourth game. You know, it's a difficult start for us, but if you're going to win leagues, this is where you need to be picking up 3 points at Tynecastle and maybe a draw at Celtic Park. You know what I mean? The outlook would look totally different if we are sitting top of the league on 10 points. As it is, we've only got 5, but we just need to go on with it. We can't give up. But what I was going to say, David Edgar put out a great summary after the game, just basically saying the board are there to give the manager the tools to do the job. It's up to the manager to have a structure, a formation for his team. And then if you don't see any desire or whatever out in the park, well, that's down to the players. So collectively, it's not just one guy you can finger point there for me. But Clement is the only Rangers manager in our history that's having to work under the financial strains that he is. And that's where I feel sorry for the guy. But when he's come out in his interview after it and giving all the XG nonsense and all the stats nonsense, nah, I'm sorry, you're beginning to look at what to rein back in.
I don't know if that's strictly true, AK, about the financial constraints. If you think what McLeish had to do for an advocate, he had to downsize dramatically with the wage bill. You think about John Gregg had to do back in the early 80s when we were building the stadium and we couldn't compete with a lot of teams to get the standard of play we wanted. I mean, this guy, he's got a budget that's... The wage bill's still pretty high, mate, yeah? It's getting the right people in the door, mate. It's getting the right people in.
Aye. He's reduced the wage bill, or him and Kloppin's reduced the wage bill by 20%, I believe. But the point being is he done most of his business in the very last day of the transfer window. That's been unheard of for me.
What, 2 players?
Well, he couldn't get the players out in until Cantwell and Ben Davies, Scott Wright went out.
Aye. But we brought 2 players in the last time. We've done that before in the last day of the transfer window.
But we tried to get another one, we couldn't.
Aye, that's a different argument, isn't it?
Aye.
Yeah, but is he with us now, that other guy?
No, you can't sign him after the transfer window. It's just
I thought the signature was okay. It was just the timing of the administration. That's all I thought. However, that's not the case.
So I know you've signed a few documents on my behalf, but that's the difference between one and the other.
No, I'm just meaning that I believe that everything was all agreed and signed. It just they couldn't get.
They never got over the line, Bridge, as far as I know.
That's fine. That's fine.
You know any different, AK?
Yeah. It's a sin, It's a sin for Rangers that way. But I'll say it again. We're our own worst enemy. We really need to get ourselves back together again.
I'm going to throw it in your court, Bridge. Should we have more Scotsmen in my team? Are we shopping in the wrong market?
Well, I don't know about Scots, but I think we're shopping in the wrong market. To be honest, we're paying quite a tidy sum of money for players that are proven when they're in the team, they're proven not to be as great as their fee suggests. That's what I think is happening. However, I'm not the best person to say these things because I just want Rangers to win. I don't have great, shall we say, comments to make for or against players. But I do think some of the players who are there and have been for a wee while, are not the same players as we thought they were going to be. They definitely aren't. That young Matondo, I cannot believe. I just can't believe it. The amount of chances he's in there with, and they can't do nothing. Even young McCausland let himself down a couple of times.
Collectively, they two were poor. I couldn't understand. It looks as if they took a gamble on Matondo. And if it is a hamstring, you know what that's like with the big marbles you play with. If the hamstring goes, you're in trouble following that kick up. Yeah.
Aye.
Right?
Aye, definitely.
And
I hear he's with the Welsh squad as well, so it must be a legit injury, shall we say. But
I have to give you his Christmas cards.
See, to get back to your point you gave to Brisbane, I would agree with that, Ox. I've been saying that for a wee while. We're shot him in the wrong market. We need Scots. Well, look at the young Baron, the influence that he's had. See if we'd at least half a dozen of the guys in the team, I think he would have seen a lot better effort than what we've seen at Celtic Park there at the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Aye. Young Baron's done all right, but he obviously he made a couple of errors, and we're hoping he'll learn it because we see that he's got a bit about him. But listen, Bridge, I'm not having a go, mate. It's just I know your thoughts on taking players off other clubs if there's a few quid involved, but obviously if we get them in the right deal, you're not against that, are you?
Oh, if you're speaking to me, which I think you are, I'll stay with the way I am. I don't want to give a Scottish team any money at all. We will take the player if the player wants to come to us, and we'll take him at the end of the contract or as close to the end of the contract as possible. And we've done that with Suter and the other one that got for Dundee, Greg. I can't remember his name now. Craig Kamara. So we've done that and come out winning. And the players look good playing for us. And the young lad that's came across from Aberdeen, again, looks good. And even Ryan Jack looked good when he came to us. We got him for nothing. So I'm quite keen in staying in that style, that type of market. I don't want to go out and pay £4 million for any player in Scotland. No, not for me. So I do believe that, not for me. But somewhere along the line, it could happen. That boy Majowski, if Rangers went in and bidded £4 million, they could have got him. Well quoted in the Scottish League and a real good scorer. But he's away. I don't know where he is. Let's say he's in Saudi or something like that.
Well,
he's away
Spain,
anyway.
He went some Spanish.
When he's Girona in Spain,
Girona,
he went
there you
to
go.
$6.5 million.
There you are. So I mean, Rangers couldn't cope with that $6.5 million, to be honest. However, I wouldn't mind going to the Italian league and picking somebody up for $3 or $4 million. Do you know what I mean? I just don't see why. Yeah, I do agree with you about when you say local talent. For
Mr. Alberts just texted me and said we had 6 British players in my team on Sunday.
6 British teams?
He's got a point. You had Butland, Tavernier, Suter, Barron, Stirling, Matondo, and if you want to throw in McCausland, who came on in the first half, 7 players took the part. British players took the. Yeah, okay, that's a fair point, and I've really thought of that, AK.
Aye.
Listen, we've got to be all better 10 out of 10. At least we know one person's listening to it.
Aye, but he's been having that list all day. We're having to think on the spot, but what Bridgeman's saying there about Majowski, well, we're spending $6 million in Danilo, we're spending $4 million in Dessers, we're spending $4 million in Lammers, $4 million in Davies, but we've squandered money constantly.
And the wages, throw in the wages.
And the way, you're talking tens of millions that we've squandered on people who we didn't know. We still don't know what Aganami is going to be like. We don't know what the Barjani is going to be like. Yefty, don't know. The jury's out and proper for a bit. I seen him at the weekend there today. Geez, I thought he was going to be our kind of guy, but after that performance, I'm not so sure now. And this is the problem. We don't know what we're bringing into the club. So the recruitment, who's there to question this recruitment on the board? because we've done that with Ross Wilson and Stuart Robertson. We'd nobody fit by minded to question they two when they were bringing in their recruitment. Who's on that board to question the recruitment and who? Nobody. Again, they need to sort that out.
I agree with that. Also, I may say, as far as I'm concerned, I thought Proper, as how can we say this? He's very unlucky because he's got, to me, a very, very weak partner in Suter. I don't see Suter as a big centre half. He's a big fella, and he sometimes does good runs for Rangers. But sorry, he's not for me. He wouldn't be my first team. He would maybe come on as a subby.
You see him as a squad player, Bridge, in an ideal world.
What's that, pal?
You see him as a squad player in an ideal world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you can get away with that. But we haven't even looked at centre halves at all, by the look of it. We went for Proper.
We've signed two.
Sorry, I'm saying we went. Excuse me. We went for Proper, and honestly, he's on his own. As soon as he comes onto the park, he's on his own. There is nobody got the statue in there. You know, they can't play. Suter can't turn in and say to Proper, you go there. No, he can't do that. To me, he's never a captain. Always, centre half should always be captain material. He might not be captain, but he must be captain material so that people will understand what's happening in defence.
That's a big part of that position, talking on it. You've got to, yeah.
Absolutely, communication. It means everything, communication.
It's a big part of that, playing that position. But I listened, Proper's played 2 games for his AK. He scored a cracking own goal and then he tried a diving leader. He tried a diving leader for 98 yards, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not the best start to his career, you're right. I mean, Bridgeman's on about a captain, a leader. He was a captain for where he came from. I thought he was going to be your new guy, our new corner, and it's not exactly a high bar there to set for me. But there's question marks over that one already, and he's not lasted 90 minutes in either the two games
right. I mean,
as well.
Sorry. You're absolutely right, 100%. And Proper, in my opinion, is getting played in the wrong team. Right, the people round about Proper are not the same people, and with ability-wise, that were in his side where he came from. So he's in there and he's completely lost, in my opinion. He's a waste of space a lot of times. But if you want to play him, you need somebody beside him that can play football. That's my opinion.
Listen, I'll bring the hammer down in the Proper one. I'll get the points to AK because I think the jury's majorly out. And my problem is when I watch him try to run. Yeah.
There's nothing you would say is decisive about him. You know, he's meant to be your leader. He's meant to be your main man, your orchestrator, your back line when they're maybe looking for an offside or, hold things together. I mean, even like you see the second goal. I said to Southside the other day, see when Kyogo gets that ball and Carter Vickers has nipped it off the toe, Cherny. Proper's only about 4 or 5 yards actually for the ball. He could engage with the Kyogo right away rather than let him back away.
He went back away, didn't he?
He went back the way and gave him that room to run into. But what Butlin's doing there, I've no idea. He passed into the net and it's not even right in at the post. It's a yard inside the post. That was horrendous, a goal to give away. So Proper didn't cover his selling glory for that,
No, not great. Listen, we just want to change the mood a wee bit. And obviously, Bridge covered it earlier. We're going back to Ibrox. We're not quite there yet. So I think we'll have a capacity of about 40,000, just over 40,000 for the cup tie against Dundee. 5:30 a week on Saturday, UK. So, the following Saturday we first came back to Dundee United, didn't it?
21st of September, is it?
Aye.
I'm expecting a sell it. I'll be glad to get back, Well, that's an improvement for the Hampden attendance already, isn't it?
What I will say, it's still an awful time for a kick-off for a football match for us. And I know they happen, I know the EPL have them and all that, but I don't know anybody. Let's just say it's not based on the people who go to the game, is it?
It's you hardly ever see them across the city going at good times like that. They just don't. Doesn't happen for them.
R5 on a Saturday. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
You know, people. I don't know. Nah, just.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know.
I think they could play that at 2 o'clock in the morning.
The television deal, I don't know if it's worth it for Scottish football with the stupid times. Right, okay. Listen, if it's all right with you two gentlemen, we'll obviously get many of your thoughts as the night goes on. And it is difficult because we've all got frustrations. Let's get the phone lines open and we'll see what it takes us. All right, Bridge Boy?
Sorry, I missed that there. Sorry.
We're going to get the phone
I
lines
get the
open.
callers in.
It's his first show, okay. You've got
Yes, go for it. Get the callers in.
Let's hear from his.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
You're going to have to look after him, AK. He's a newbie.
Just stop, please. I'm not well on
I
it.
just don't want to see his white bits, that's for sure.
That's for sure. You better
Well,
believe
you're
it.
going to cough, go on mute. We all don't want to hear you.
Oh, sorry, pal. Go on mute now. Right.
Aye. So I get your frustration with the new. We'll be kind. The jury's out. Because let's be honest, AK. If you looked at Andy Gorham in his first few games, you know, you never know what's going to happen, do you? But at the moment, the jury's out. Anyway, we've been joined by our Jim. Evening, Jim. How we doing, brah?
Yeah, good evening, lads. How is everybody?
Evening,
Fox,
Jim.
how are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Yeah.
Aye. For better weekends.
Aye, I've had better. I've had worse. No many. I've had worse.
Yeah. Hey,
go
my point is,
lie on the couch and get it off your chest, mate.
I'll get it off my chest, aye. Right. My issue is, I agree with you to an extent regarding the manager. I'm sick of this carry on. I will learn. That goal, that first goal they scored is the same goal that they scored umpteen times against us, and we're no learning. So what are they doing? What are they actually doing? Because it's the same goals all the time. But I heard that the you know, but we're slitting their own throats. We are slitting their own throats.
Listen, mate, there's something not quite right about how we're set up at times. I don't like this playing to the blackboard all the time. Football's about making a lot of call, but it's also about having the discipline at the right time to hold your position. And that first goal, Jim, our left back's gone to the throw.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, if you were playing football at primary school, you didn't do that, did you?
No. Our fit team, I know I keep on happening to our fit team. See if we lost a goal like that, man, we'd be booted up and down the park. Absolute shocking, absolute disgrace. When you watch him that scored the Celtic's first one, watch where he started on Tav. Watch where his run started when that move started. Criminal. Same goal all the time, every week. Again, by the way, it's not just against him. We've lost the same goal against everybody at the same times.
Yeah, maybe something wrong with the setup, Jim.
Yeah, you're right. You keep on going on about it, and your point's valid because he's no learning. And whether he's got the right tools, I heard the guy saying there that he's been cash strapped. He's not been cash strapped because he's been getting the money. He's spent money. There's been managers said worse than him, by the way, regarding money. I'm not getting on his back, but he's making a rod for his own back sometimes. People, you're seeing on Follow and Vice and all these other forums, people are getting sick of listening to him. Big boys, right? The fans are getting sick of it. They are getting sick of it.
Aye. We're hurting. And AK, you might come back because obviously you were the man that mentioned cash strapped. I'll give you a name. One of Walter's only signings, James Beattie, one season, remember? That was all we got.
Right?
I know. Anyway, good evening, Jim. Listen, I'm just saying cash. I'm just saying cash strap because, listen, I know he spent 14 million, right? It sounds a lot, but it's not really. Rodgers has spent double that. You know what I mean? But he's only adding to the basis of a foundation of a team that's already basically dominated Scottish football for the last 13 years. Clermont's having to do a full rebuild. We've had 16 players go out the door and 12 players come in the door. And probably about, I would say, 4 or 5 of the 12 players aren't ready for first team. We don't seem to get a first team player actually ready and in the door to go straight into the team. I don't know what's happening there with that either. So that's why I'm saying that. But listen, as far as the organisation, it's indefensible sometimes. It really is. And all his nonsense that he's talking with his interviews, I hate that. I hated that with Gio when he started it. I hated it with Beale. Don't tell us that. Don't bullshit the Rangers what, with stats and possession and shots at goal and XG and everything. Our eyes don't like us. That could have been 6 there at the weekend, and that's unacceptable.
Jim, you want to come back in?
No, just 100% agree with you. I think, but I heard today regarding Matondo. I heard that's a 6-weeker.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a hamstring.
It's a 6-weeker. I'm led to believe.
You're a wise man, a natural athlete who's getting himself back in shape. Is that fair?
Just when I heard you saying there he's gave out his Christmas cards. The way your 6 weeks go, by the way, it could be Christmas.
I wasn't joking when I said that.
I know you weren't.
Listen, if he had a hamstring problem, he's a speedy player. What was the only part starting?
Correct, and that again goes back to who? It's either that or our medical department are having too much of a say what's going on in that team.
But if they had seen him playing, and we're going to his desire. If they had seen playing and he has done his hamstring, they got it wrong, didn't they?
Well, big time. But I've heard things, and people and all who I know, I've heard things that to players who were there regarding not having enough minutes on the training ground before they get on that park. This is what's happening here. Either that or he's flinging about there now, panicking that he needs to get them on the park. And there he's sitting on the bench at the weekend again, and Danilo, nowhere to be seen. You wonder just what's going on.
How long it takes you to get fit, mate? Is that the point you mean?
Yep. Has it been dictated with these medical science guys? Are they dictating to him what's going on with these players?
Yeah, well, Bridgman, there is things that don't add up, and it's the consistency. It's the consistency. If you're saying that I don't play people when they're fit, I'll go back to last season when Connor Golson had no pre-season and appeared at Kilmarnock. Everybody was scratching their head. This isn't a good thing because they tell us you need to get match fit and then he plays, bang, we lose the game. If you're saying that people have to have a level of fitness before they're on the park, you look stupid if you don't stick to that, Bridger.
Surely, from the lowest level of football in the UK to the highest level of football in the UK, there's absolutely no way you're going to play somebody that's injured. You're just not going to do it. You might only be able to do 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So the last 20 minutes they might get a wee run. But if they're no fit, then they're no fit. It shouldn't be on it shouldn't be on the bench at all. And I'm absolutely astounded by Clement and his attitude towards us. But like Matondo is not fit. You can see he's not fit. He's going down like a ton of bricks sometimes and lying there and then shouting to the bench, I'm injured. And then all of a sudden he's back on the pitch again and then he goes down again. Now that time he's getting up and back on the pitch, he's a waste of space because he's not doing anything. He needs to be taken off the park. As soon as he's injured, get him off the park. Because he's the one that's saying he's injured. Yeah, he's shouting and waving. So he needs to go in that sense. He needs to go. But now all of a sudden he's out there and he gets a cold sponge or something like that, cold water sponge, and that wakes him up and then he comes back on again and it's not any good. And I just find that really strange. And the manager has to take responsibility for all that. That's got to stop. Because you know what's going to happen. And it's not that long ago, a couple of months ago, the Rangers fans were booing the Rangers team at Ibrox Stadium. That cannot be allowed to happen again, ever. And that's what's going to happen if they continue doing this. Because we watch them, and you sit at Ibrox, all of you guys sit at Ibrox and watch what's happening.
Well, a couple of us do. Me and Jim do, aye.
Well, you know what I mean. It's you go to Ibrox and you watch the team, and you can see certain players aren't there. They're in their mind, they're not there. And that young boy Matondo is like that. Unless he gets a goal, if he gets a goal, he's very happy, and he's back onto the game again.
My point, right. Let's say we'd all played Matondo on Saturday, because if you have an outstanding game, there's an argument that you're due another shot at it. Is that fair, Jim? Forget who it is.
Aye, probably say aye.
Aye, right. But then, if you're a pacey player and you've got a hamstring issue, you become totally ineffective, don't you?
Yep. As I said before, he wouldn't have played for our fit team if we knew there was any inkling of a hamstring injury. No chance. More so in a game with the pace and all that in that game. Instead of that, he's no telling the truth, or he's taking a gamble on him.
Aye. And then what does that send out to other people, AK?
Aye, see on that point, and you might be right, we're no privy to that information, but see if he has got a hamstring injury, and see where that first goal where Jim's talking about where he's coming from, Matondo's meant to be tracking that guy. He's not got the pace then to catch him then, is he?
Yep.
He's culpable for it.
If he's not had the hamstring issue, how come he's appeared with a cycle shots on that he never had the week before?
Yep.
Aye, good spot. But that
they're not telltale signs, these things, isn't it, with cycling shots? Sorry.
Aye. Listen, I'm not defending Matondo, but sometimes you've got to question his desire, and we've seen that a wee bit again on Sunday. But once you sort of hear, there was they might have took a gamble on him, and a pacey player with a hamstring problem. As you say, Jim, you wouldn't do it with your bunch of mates, would you?
No chance.
You know. Right, okay, what about... there's been a lot of talk about a centre forward, and I think it was Southside, who has been very, at times, fair in his assessment. He's maybe trying to praise him when others, but we saw the good, the bad, the ugly of Cyril at times. That big game again, it was just ugly, Jim, wasn't it?
Aye, pathetic. Nonsense, man. People are saying, the one, he was offside. Put the ball in the net. Give yourself a bit of confidence. If they chop it off, they chop it off. They've got to score these chances. I agree with Soonish to an extent. They had players who were more clinical. All right, they did give you the tanking, but they did have players who were more clinical.
Aye. And if the one where it was more clinical went 3-0 right before half time. Aye. But it wasn't. Look, sometimes the centre forward, AK, you know, it's like they always put you second, don't you, in the balls, because that's where you put the weak players, right? So if you don't have any chances, you can't score. But you're still going to do other things for the team when you get the ball and get things right, eh?
You don't realise who you're talking to here, boy. Scottish internationalist, you know.
I know more about you than you do.
I would be putting Ross down to second, and I think put it that way. But no, listen, Dessers is there. McCoy's done it for years, didn't he? You've got to be a goal threat. The opposition's got to be fearfully be wary. I mean, Kyogo, I think, scored 8 goals in the last 10 Old Firm games. That's what we want as our striker. Morelos, even for all the games that he played, he toughed about with him, but his goal scoring record, what was he, 3 in about 28 games? When was the last time we had a striker that they were actually fearfully? You're going back to probably Kenny Miller's era. You know, Chris Boyd, well, I say Chris Boyd, he scored 1, didn't he? But I know what you're saying there. It's no good enough.
But even if you defend the guy for Saturday, Jim, and Briggs can come in next. Even if you defend the guy for Sunday, and say he didn't get a lot of chances apart from maybe there was one in either half, he's pulled a puff shot, and then the one that I think he was offside personally. But it doesn't matter. Your point's valid there, Jim. But in between that, you've got to do the basics right. Hold the ball up, pass it, control it, and do what you're meant to do. That's all part of your job as well, Jimmy.
Aye. Again, I watched the game against Ross County last week, and I thought at times his control was ridiculous. His fifth touch is his first touch at times.
Just say, Bridge, he's a unique player. Yeah. Last call for Bridge.
I think Bridge is away. He's away to finish up booze that you said at the weekend.
I'm sitting here listening to you. I couldn't make out what was being said the last minute or two there. Sorry, Ox. Yeah. What was the question?
Dessers, let's just say he's a unique player.
Dessers. I have to say, I think all of the Rangers fans have got a great deal of sympathy for Dessers, and when he hits a wee bit for him, then he's like every other centre forward. If he puts the ball in net, he's going to be. They're going to love him. The truth is, he's not got it. So seriously, guys, he's not got it. That was a top level game he was playing, a top level game, and he was getting bullied every time he got near the ball. He was getting bullied. He got through twice and messed up both of them. And I'm sorry, you just don't expect that. I really do think you don't expect that. And what can you say? You know, he becomes a laughingstock. It needs to stop. We need to get a centre forward that knows what a centre forward does today. And I think we've paid quite a bit of money for him. Now, he might be okay in games that are not Celtic oriented, you know. So that might be a thing. They could play him against any other team, but don't play him against Celtic. Not until he gets his confidence up, because he just hasn't got it. In my opinion, you know.
Again, it's the other thing I know is obviously we paid a few quid for him. He's no young, and it's another hefty salary, Jim. He'll be on decent money.
Aye, big time. Aye, very heavy. Aye, be on a lot of decent money. I had a few arguments on in our forum regarding. I feel we had to bring a striker in. We're in trouble if we're depending on him for the season, because we didn't lose no anywhere near it. Again, as spoke about earlier on there, nowhere to be seen at the weekend when we was needed. You've kind of put in your hopes now on this young boy, this Hamza Hengami, whatever his name is. But again, they looked as if he'd a wee bit about him.
Right, here's a question for you, Jim, and then AK can come in with this one. Right, so, look, AK mentioned the transfer window, the players out, the players in. I was speaking to a wise man today, and he said all we should have concentrated on was the here and now. No, the project players. We could have took a look at them and just went with the projects, and the next one day or the one day after, just to concentrated the here and now. And it's hard to argue with that statement, Jim. Then AK.
Yeah, 100%. It needs to be sorted now before that mob right there the holes and far away.
AK.
Aye, well, listen, it's the here and now that we want to see, but I think Clamont's actually on record as saying that the strategy that him and Coppin came up with, that had to change for whatever reason. That was their strategy. That was their whatever they've got in plans for the future, hoping to bring in and develop younger players to then be able to go into the first team. I mean, talking to my father there a couple of days ago, he's saying that other teams bring in people with 2 years of development and the kind of training structure and all that to develop them, then to come into the first team maybe in about 6 months, a year. We can't really afford to do that, can't we? No? It's just the position that we're in. But if that's the strategy, then boy, I don't know what we're going to be getting coming in the future.
I have to agree with that. Seriously, Oxshire, I have to agree with that. Every word of it.
Can I ask something? How do we solve this now? How do we solve this now? I don't know what they're saying here. How do we sort this?
We can't make a move, mate. We're on the chessboard and we can't make a move to January, mate. What we have to do is get our team on the park. Hopefully, our new recruits hit the ground running and we improve as a team, and as players get to know each other, and maybe Proper gets fitter. Say Jeffrey and Proper, for example, they've played together very little, so then they build up, and you have hopefully a better team, and we've got 2 weeks to do stuff on the coaching ground, but it's a big puzzle, mate, and the jigsaw at the moment's got a few pieces missing. Anyway, we've been joined by Martin. Evening, Martin. How you doing, brah? Long time no hear.
Ox, my friend, how are you? It's been a long, long time.
Aye, how are you, mate? You still get that day job?
Well, my day job is now a podcast, but I've still got the day job.
Good to hear from you, mate. Yeah, you've on to bigger things, eh?
No, nothing's bigger than Rangers Radio Walks, Jeff.
Oh, thanks very much, mate. How you doing, Martin? Good to hear from you, mate. How's everything in your own personal world before we go on about the Rangers?
Everything's just the same. I've still got a wee lassie who's a pain in the bum. I don't want to swear, but everything is rosy in the garden until we talk about football, and then it's just pain and misery.
Good to hear from you, mate. Right, get it off your chest, mate. The floor's yours.
One of my biggest problems right now, and we have a lot of problems. We have a lot of problems in terms of recruitment, in terms of the board, manager, players. But the thing that scares me the most, Ox, is throughout all the money that we've spent, I watched that game on Sunday, and even if you watch previous games, there is not one single leader in our team. Not one. You can talk about, there's different types of leaders. There's a captain who kicks everybody up the arse, or there's players who lead by example. We have zero, absolutely nothing, nada. And my worry is going forward, even forget about January, up until January, we're looking for a response for these players. But my big worry, Ox, and to everybody on the panel, if you can answer this, is who in that team is going to lead these players through the battles that we're going to come up against before we even get to January.
A nice easy one. AK.
I knew you were going to hit me with a brilliant point, Martin. A brilliant point. And many have been saying that for years on here, because we look at our captain, James Tavernier, when the chips are down, everybody looks to him for leadership, and it's no there. Connor Golson used to be the vocal guy, didn't he, in defence to organise thing. He's no there anymore. Alan McGregor's no there anymore. You've got Ryan Jacks. That what we witnessed there at that weekend there, proper, what I thought was meant to be that guy. No, Connor Barron, he's too young to take that responsibility on his shoulders. Tavernier went into his shell again, and as did others. They're no finger pointing, but to pull others into position, to organise things, to keep things tight, take that to half time, 1-0 down, and then we can possibly reorganise. No, what do we do? We lose a stupid goal. 100% way.
Is Connor Barron the same age as Barry Ferguson when he became captain?
Different personality though, innit?
I'm just asking. You said he was too young. You never said a different personality.
Aye, Barry was Barry though. He was head and shoulders above young Barron, and young Barron's the best prospect that I think we've got in our team now. But to put all that pressure onto the young boy like that, Barry went into a far better Rangers team than what Connor Barnes came into here.
Oh, that's a different argument. I think the 6 of them could beat that 11 this now, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Bridgman, you want to come in, mate? You've had a few battle scars leading.
Yeah, I'll say the last statement that was made about there's nobody in the team looks like a captain, and I'm including James Tavernier. And I think it's sad that for all of this season going here, and a big chunk of the end of last season, I'm afraid that Mr. Tavernier was posted missing insofar as captaincy is concerned, and even his game wasn't that great. So probably for maybe 3 or 4 months, he's actually done hee-haw for us, really. I know he scored a couple of goals, but in reality, he's nothing like what he was 2 seasons ago as a captain and a brilliant football player. Something's happening with him, and I don't know what it is. It's very negative, and I think the sooner we get the captaincy taken off James Tavernier and given to another, I don't know who he would give it to at the moment. Maybe even give it to Proper and see what he does. See if that brings his character out. But seriously, there's nobody else I would give it to, may I say. I don't think there's anybody else in the team at the present moment and the form we've got that I would give it to other than Proper. We need a centre half. We need a huge centre half with a huge character and big man, big character, full of confidence and full of running and able to play football. That's what we need, and he'll be our captain. I don't know whether we're going to get anybody like that, so it's down to probably end up going down to Pro Player. Because what happens if you're going to sell Tavernier at Christmas time or New Year's time? I don't know. I mean, maybe you, Oxford, can tell us. Sorry?
James Tavernier, unless there's a decent bid for him, he ain't gone anywhere, mate. He's not.
I'm saying
away.
that, but I don't know
He's
if
not
he's ever
walking
going to
away
go
from-
anywhere. But is
He's not
he
walking
going to
away.
get a? Is he going to get a testimonial? Because
Well,
he
that's
should have
something.
got over 10 years, eh?
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole different. There's three questions in there. I'll take a slightly different view on it, Martin. Right? If you're just talking about James Tavernier, I think if for Tav not to be the captain anymore, it would be only right that he maybe left the club in a perfect world. But sometimes football doesn't work like that, and he's got to be. He can still be the club captain, and maybe be dropped for the team because he doesn't look fit. But I take your point that there doesn't look. Suter doesn't look like a talker. Butland's been into his shell. The only one that was trying to get involved in your I think the game's changed. Only the captain can speak to the referee now with this new directive, and I think it's not a bad thing for the game of football. So if I was picking a captain, I would look for somebody in midfield. Why? Because they're closer constantly in the play to talk to the referee, if that makes sense, Martin.
It does, but the biggest thing for me is we were told, right, and look, this whole rebuild thing, for us it's difficult to accept because of the kind of club that we are, the size of the club that we are and what we expect, right? But see, sometimes you just have to take your medicine, you have to sit back and you have to just accept what's happening. But how can you possibly have a rebuild where you're bringing in a bunch of younger players and not have one or two people who are ready to drag the young players when the going gets tough? That for me is on the manager, and that for me is on the recruitment staff. You can't possibly ask. People go on about the Manchester United team in 1992, which still had the likes of Steve Bruce and Gary Pallister in it. It wasn't a team full of 11 youngsters. And we seem to have this team right now with a manager who, day by day, press conference by press conference, is starting to lose the love of the supporters. So we have a team that's filled with people who, when the going gets tough, when you're 1-0 down or it's one each with 5-10 minutes to go, you're looking around and going, who's going to pull this team out of the mud and push them on to get that goal? You can't have a rebuild if you don't have anybody that's strong-willed enough to pull the youngsters through the rebuild. It's impossible, Oxford. It doesn't matter who's got the armband. I don't care who's got the armband. I just want enough players in my team who are going to be strong-willed enough to get us through the dark days. And right now, Oxford, I just don't see it.
So, I mean, if you're looking at the not too distant past, you're talking about maybe, even though I don't think he might have captain Rangers Nottingham, I can't remember off the top of my head. Ryan Jack, you always felt was a leader on the pitch, and I think he made that point, AK, yeah. Goldston was vocal, yeah. You've got three guys in there with maybe thought, I don't think Sterling's that type. Yeah, he looks quite a sort of, I don't mean, he doesn't look an outgone character, even though he's a bear, if that makes sense, AK. And
you're right. And
the wingers are not going to lead Jersey.
No. Listen, Martin, it's a valid point that you're bringing up, and it's something that should have been considered. You're right. I mean, that 92 Man United team you're talking about, Eric Cantona was their kind of go-to guy. We don't have that in our team. If Tavernier's the kind of go-to guy that everybody's going to look at, and then he's going, well, it's not my fault, what am I meant to do? That's not the sort of captain that we're looking for, so it's a valid point, pal.
Oh, thanks very much. Sorry, I thought Oxford was going to come back in there.
And by the way, what I would say as well is if you're looking for direction and encouragement across the park as well, I didn't see that off of Clement either, which I found alarming.
I don't have a natural. When you look at the group, you don't see it. Maybe somebody will come to the fore. It might be the new centre half. It might be proper. But at this moment in time, Martin, I think your point's very valid. I think that there's a different debate to be had about James Tavernier, and I've got a bit of sympathy for James, and I'll tell you why. Not that his performances are merited as such. I just think his legs have gone, and somebody has to tell him. And then the manager's got a decision to make. And that becomes difficult, Bridge, because, Bridge, when they go, don't they?
100%. And you know, to be perfectly honest with you, when it happens, and inside you, you're always going to turn and say, oh, no, I can do this. And that can go on for maybe a year or two. But in your heart of hearts, you just know it's not happening for you. It's just not going to happen. Even to be as fit as you are. I mean, I played football right up until I was 50, and pretty good level of football too. But when they went. I could hardly walk, if you follow what I mean, compared to some of the guys in my team, the really fit guys. So I wasn't fit, and I think, I'm not saying that Tavernier's 50 or anything near it, but Tavernier has not got it. I don't think he's got it anyway to bomb up the pitch. He needs to be up the pitch, sitting run about the halfway line, and then only has to run 60 yards or not 40 yards maybe to get the ball. Other than that, you can't expect him to run 70 yards and back again. It's not going to happen. I think, can I just say, you mentioned Clement there. My honest opinion about Clement, insofar as this interviews that he gives, he shouldn't be giving any interviews with full explanations. Yes or no? Someone asks a question, yes or no. Finished. Don't say any more. Next person. That's all you want to say.
Can I just jump in there? Sorry, Ox.
On you go, Martin.
And just take Bridges' point there that we can't expect our right back in the modern day football to be running up and down the pitch. See if you want exactly, you shouldn't be playing in modern day football. Your right and your left back should be the two people on the park who have the most fitness and the most stamina. Because in modern day football, they're wing backs now. They're basically inside forwards now, aren't they? Expected to defend. So the fact that our right back isn't in and Tav always led by example. Tav wasn't a shouter or a screamer, but Tav's the one who would get you the goal at the back post, or put in a cross and set somebody up. Tav doesn't do that anymore. We don't have that from James Tavernier anymore. So yeah, it is absolutely time to move on. And the fact that Bridge is pointing out that our right back doesn't have the capacity to get up and down the park is just another damning indictment right now of where our football clubs are.
And I would have played Sterling in midfield the weekend. But in hindsight, you look at it, you might have went with somebody else and played them at right back. But that's in hindsight, and I get it. But if his legs have went, Martin, he's not getting them back.
No.
The only guy that has ever done that's Steve Austin.
Oh dear.
He never get his neck back, but did he? It's been a pleasure talking to you, gents. Keep up the good work, and I love the show.
Cheers, Martin. Good to hear. If you don't be a stranger, mate, yeah?
As long as my missus lets me on the phone, I'll phone in, Oxford.
All right, mate. You'll get yourself, mate. Yeah. And if you've got any trouble, missus, just send it to me, right?
Certainly will do.
All right.
Right, guys. Cheers.
That didn't sound too good, AQ, did it?
What are you up to there? Great call, Martin. Excellent. Need to rein you in here, buddy.
Oh dear. Oh, I maybe should tell. I don't know if I should tell the Martin story. He phoned in when he was doing his day job at the time, and he phoned in. I can't remember the issue, Bridge. I'm sure you were about. And let's just see all his passengers were on the bus. And they stopped the bus. That was brilliant. Yeah, top man, over Martin. Top man. Aye, a good point he makes, and I think people can see that. It's pretty obvious, you know. Young Diamande, he shows passion. He wants to get involved, but listen, he's a slight and he's young and he's inexperienced, and you know, and you've got the cultural thing, and he's only learning his trade. He's not there yet, is he? Anyway, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that after the tune. So get yourselves a mute, gentlemen. It's time for a tune.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
The old school blue melodies. Let's hear this up here.
Oh, that was class, Terry. Well done. Fantastic.
Oh, El likes the old accordions, doesn't he?
Oh, he did so. I think the bridge man was skating round about the scullery with that, Ian.
He'll be doing it. Mrs. Bridge will be getting a dancing white sergeant. Maybe a military two-step. I don't know.
Aye, good.
You know, as I said before we went straight to the tune there, it was a valid point of Martin. You know, and in the engine room you've got Diamande, Sterling there, and Connor Barron, and collectively they've not played a lot of games for our club, whether you like it or not. You know, because Big Sterling, he's only been ways a year, and he's been in and out, mate. Barron's just new, and listen, I like young Connor, and I think he could be a captain, but I take your point. Diamande doesn't look as if he's that type, and that's the engine room, you know, and I don't see it, and I think we maybe need somebody in there, but I don't know who, and there's no an obvious candidate, mate.
No, and there's no a Steve Davis there that stepped in. He would be your ideal.
Have we ever replaced Stephen Davis, mate? You talk about leaders.
Absolutely, and that's a guy exactly what we're looking for, aren't we? Somebody with experience, somebody just a calm head, you know, just to make the short pass, just to keep possession, organise people where they should be running, make yourself available for a pass constantly. That guy, it just shows you how important Davis was to your team. And you're right, 3 young guys in there. I think the Sterling debate now about the midfield, I think that could be put to bed now. He gives his physicality, he gives his endeavour, but he doesn't give a lot more than that. We need a proper midfield. I thought actually Raskin came on and was okay in there. I think
the trouble is, I don't know if you can judge him in that, because at the time of the game and the pressure was up. But Raskin had a decent cup final against him, mate. You know, and it's a big season for him, because obviously he's been ways for nearly a couple of years now, and he spent a lot of time on the treatment table. Sympathy with this one, mate. That was a shocking tackle in pre-season, wasn't it?
Oh, shocker, definitely. But you're right, it's keeping Raskin fit. It's keeping a lot of them fit. We talked about a spine of the team, a good 6, 7, 8 players that need to be playing pretty much every game. You need consistency in your selection to get consistent performance.
Can't disagree with anything you've said there.
Carry on, Bridge. Floor's yours, mate.
I was going to say that right at this moment in time, I think there's the only thing that would be available for Rangers from a signing players perspective is the people that have been freed, the footballers that have been freed. I don't even know if there's anybody that has been freed either in England or Scotland that would attract Rangers. So if someone looks for it, looks through them, you might find 1 or 2 that might just fit the bill for Rangers. Because we can't. There's nothing else we can do. We can't bring players in other than the way they are through it's a freed players. They can get there. I think they can get them in. I don't know how long for. Maybe for another month or something like that. But that would be an ideal thing for the Rangers board to do, or the team that does the selections. Go out there and look at some of these guys and see if they could fit the bill. And bring a big giant centre half in. I know I keep going on about this, guys, but that's the only thing for me. That's what we're missing. And we don't have a good centre half. We're bad. We're pretty bad.
I think we need a centre half, and whether Big Nara's the answer, AK. I accept Bridges' point. I think we need a centre half. I don't care if he's going to be a decent stature, but he's got to have pace, mate. Yeah, I mean, no offence to James Tavernier. We'd 3 that were back 4, very little pace at the weekend, mate.
Aye, and it's down to organisation, though. See, when our full-backs are playing as high as what they're doing, they're leaving a lot of space going in behind them. So your midfield has got to recognise that they need to go in there and cover, and that's where Ryan Jack and Glenn Kamara and Davis there to orchestrate them. He could do that. Obviously, Jack and that recognised that, but that's getting to play with each other and getting to know what they're all about. But as Martin says there, when you've not got the engine on you anymore today, but Tav used to do, Tav as well just defending. Just make it simple for yourself and just pass it on to Cherny, what he should be doing, or doing it on to Matondo or that, Just make it a wee bit easier for yourself so you're compact in defence, because unfortunately it's apparent now. He's gone, he's done. So we really need to be replacing him.
I also think that, to be honest with you, I think we need to, now that we've caused all the problems in our club, all the recent problems in our club, I think that we need to get a replacement for Todd Cantwell, because he was the only one that was able to do fetch and carry and create.
Well, we've brought hopefully the Albanian boys that, mate, yeah?
Well, I don't see it. I'm not being funny, so no disrespect to anyone. I don't see it. I think Rangers desperately need someone, Todd Cantwell, who can run and drive it into the box. And the way we're going, when I look at the boy Diamondi, he looks as if he should be able to do it and have shots for the edge of the box. And he started out trying to do that, and for some reason or other, he doesn't quite do it as often as I think he should. But I do think Todd Cantwell's a big loss for us, big loss in the attacking midfield perspective.
Yeah, well, I think he looked a player when he came in. I didn't think he looked a player when he went.
Oh no, he was a disgrace. He was a disgrace.
Right. That's all I'm saying. I would say just don't shut the door behind you, okay? That's,
Oh, absolutely. I would say to Bridgeman, though, what game did Cantwell really affect, though, against Celtic? There's only one that I could think of, the 3-0 game at Ibrox. The rest of them, I thought he was quite oblivious.
Absolutely, I'm trying to say that. There's only a few games that he actually showed he could do it. But when he showed he could do it, he was absolutely outstanding. The difficulty is, how do you get that guy to play? Well, you're not going to get him to play because he's gone now. He didn't want to play, so he's gone now. But I think we need a player of that kind of quality that's able to do that and take players on, find spaces, create the wee moves. I don't know, maybe stand at number 10. I know we'll get some good players that can do it.
We brought in a direct number 10, didn't we?
Do it again.
Yep.
We brought in a direct number 10. The boy that we brought in the Albanian.
Yeah, and we have to see them yet. I'm just meaning that if we go into the sort of players that have been let go, we might be able to pick one or two of these players up. That's all I'm saying. We desperately need, and they've got to come in. These guys have got to come in and show that they can play football for Rangers, and that's the way it's got to be. And we all waiting to be in, waiting to see what's happening. Are they going to be there? Are they going to do it? And if they're going to do it, then fabulous, absolutely brilliant. Just what Rangers need.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see what happens. I mean, obviously, it depends. Barani, we'll get that right, his name, but we'll see. We'll see where it takes us. We've not seen him, so we can't judge. And we're hoping he's going to be successful. But he's going to need runners, and if you're a decent number 10, you slide the ball down channels. You're going to need somebody who can control it,
Aye, he can't do it all himself. Aye, that's for sure. But I think you've been at the same school elocution lessons as Albert at Bajrami. Some of his efforts there at the weekend was brilliant. You boxed him right into a corner too with him. But aye. I don't know. Aye, it's a full team effort, isn't it? You can't just rely on one guy. Your defence has got to defend. Your keeper's got to keep them out of net. Your strikers are looking to score goals, and your wingers in midfield are looking to create, win the ball. We've got to play as a unit, and we didn't play as a unit. Far from it.
What do you make? Obviously, you're more a guy on social media than me, mate. And the social media, the media on here, the criticism of manager just about the shape, mate. Do you buy into that, or do you think he's going to be able to do what he wants because he's a manager?
Oh, what a question. Listen, I don't have a problem with the manager having his own philosophy on the shape, but when it's obvious and it's not working, you've got to be able to adapt to change it. It can't be as, what would you say? What's the word? You're just not willing to stubborn. Aye, exactly. You're not willing to change. You're not willing to listen. Aye, well, that I know.
Foolish.
Aye, oiling. You can't do that. You can't. The best managers are able to adapt to the personnel that you've got to pick for. Have a sit down with the guys. Which shape were you playing with your former club? Where do you think your best position is? And you've got to start putting round pegs and round holes, because if he's not got the squad of players to play the formation, it's just going to blow up in your face constantly. And you see the gaping holes that we've got in the middle of the park, in behind our full-backs constantly. It's not working. So he needs to adapt. If he doesn't, he's just going to hang himself. It's a two-team league. If you can't beat Celtic, you're not going to win any trophies, and you're not going to last at our club then. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Man. I know. Listen, shape's not everything in a game of football, Bridgeman, is it? You've got to have that natural people reading in the game, or people who have just got flair, who see the game slightly different. It's all part of the game, but shape's important. It's not the be-all and end-all, but if you're surrendering bits of the pitch, it looks really naive to me, mate.
It does. And by the way, it looks like naive to everybody at the moment. Nobody quite knows. But even when you look at the team that's published, or the players that are published, they're in no ascending order type of thing, And there's no defenders. This is defenders, this is a midfield, nothing. They just come out with a whole list of names, and you've got to guess who's going to play where. I'm not saying that you won't do it, because it's probably quite simple most of the time. But there's no shape. The manager's not saying we're a 4-3-3 team, or a 4-2-4 team, or a 3-5-2 team, which is my favourite. But we just don't have anything like that. And I thought the team looked really good on the pitch, and they played some really good passing football for the first 10 minutes. Created a couple of wee chances for themselves, and unfortunate. And then all of a sudden, they just seemed to fall out of the game. And I think that they fell out of the game when Celtic scored and the goal was disallowed. And instead of that boosting us, I think it was the fact that Celtic scored a goal, and it was put offside. We didn't even take a sigh of relief, but they just didn't know what to do, because the way they played, that was a tremendous, to all intents and purposes, a tremendous goal. Although the guy was slightly offside, but it's all down to us, the way we're playing and what we're doing, and that, shall we say, the lack of skill at the back. And that's basically what's happened, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. All right, can we just thank the native KFC man, who's obviously a big thanks to the show. Thanks for all your calls, mate. You're not getting on here.
Cheers, Colonel.
The native KFC man.
Right, okay. Right, what have we debated? We've debated the centre forward leadership question for Martin was excellent, wasn't it? Just quickly, obviously with this directive, this one of the captain, do you see my logic for the midfield guy? Because more than not, you wouldn't make a goal with the captain now. I know you can put somebody in the midfield, but if you wanted to be talking about an incident in the outside left, yeah.
It's logic. It's logic what you say, and I think it's obviously the director that's carried on for the Euros. And to be honest with you, it's just to stop the referee getting surrounded with players and intimidated into decisions, isn't it? Because it's not a good look when players start to do that. So you can understand why. But when they're automatically getting a yellow card, and I think Dessers had that at the weekend, didn't he, for moaning about something, and he's getting a yellow card. But they'll soon learn that, no, you're right, middle of the park, I think that's where your captain's got to be in the ear of the referee.
Aye.
There's not much you can say about that. I mean, it's logical, it makes sense. There's not much you can say about it. My own preference, of course, is as a central defender, man that can read, if he can read the game, we're laughing. And he could, from that position, he's got eyes on the pitch, reads the game well, and does the business. That's the way I look at it. It's just me, pal. So
listen, traditionally I get that, Bridge. I traditionally get that, you know, that type of thing there. But I think, excuse me, if you were defending, the ball was cleared up part, and something happened outside left, you could be 80 yards away from it as a captain.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know, obviously, but you could use the same argument for a breakaway for a midfield, but generally they're closer to all the play.
So we've gone from as a captain with Stephen Davis for a wee while, yeah. Maybe that's when Tav wasn't playing too good or was injured or something like that.
He didn't captain as much when Tav was there, mate.
No, I'm saying that, but
Stephen Davis was the captain before me.
From a midfield perspective,
aye,
he was the last one. I think he was the last one that was actually captain of the team at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, it's been a right back for God knows how long, 10 years or something.
No, Stephen Gerrard made him captain in 2018.
Stephen Gerrard, of course. I love it. I was at that game.
No, Stephen Gerrard made him captain.
Oh, Stephen Gerrard made him captain. I know that Gerrard came on to play for us in a friendly, you know. I thought that's what you were meaning.
The Legends game.
That's right, yeah.
Aye, so the leadership point was maybe you're going to have to look at the change. And it'll become part of the game, AK, if this looks as if it could be here to stay, and I don't have a problem with it. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Aye. And it's definitely a valid point that Martin's got, particularly as Tavernier's coming to the end of his Rangers career. As I say, I thought Proper was going to be that guy. Soonest brought in Terry Butcher, didn't he? Rather than, who would the captain be before then? John McClelland or something like that?
When you're coughing, Bridge. No, John McClelland had left the club then. The captain, 86 season. No, that's a good question, mate. I'll have a quick think and get back to you on that one. I'll need to.
Aye, sure.
Brain cells. No.
but the basis of the point was he's bringing in the England captain. You know, he was buying his captain rather than, you know, potentially phone out with the changing room because he's taking the captaincy off of one of their pals or whatever. So he just come in with that ruthless streak, and sometimes that's what you need. So it's definitely a valid point that Martin's made there. But who's going to be that, though? Is it going to be a Proper? Is it going to be... Well, surely we can discount a Butt under that now after his performance at the weekend. That wasn't exactly...
Would you base... Well, as much as I don't think Butland's been great, and he's not been great for maybe arguably 6 months, I wouldn't base a decision on one game. Yeah? Butland has to get his form back, mate, before you look at that, if that makes sense. Not just Sunday, mate, yeah?
No, I agree with you there, but when Jack Butland's coming out in an interview after the game and saying he actually thought he played well, that's mere rubbish that the Rangers support don't want to hear either.
No. You obviously hadn't seen the second goal,
Aye, I know.
Aye.
Bridgeman,
you know, they scored. I thought they scored 4 really good goals. The first one was offside, and left our entire midfield and defence in a disarray, complete disarray. Didn't know what they were doing. The ball was gone, and before you know it, they pounced on the ball. One touch, bang, great goal. And the next one touch, bang, goal. And we kind of beat that. For some unknown reason, we kind of see that ball coming. Don't understand it. I don't understand why the centre half can't see that. We've got 2 huge, big centre halves. They can't see these balls coming straight through the middle. You know, as the song says, straight down the middle. What is wrong? What's wrong with us? Why are we not seeing them? Now you can just step up and leather the player when he's near the ball, just leather him. That's what I would do anyway. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you've had me put me on the spot, AK. I think it could have been Ali Dawson, mate. And I think he was leaving the club at the same time. So I don't know. I think it was, yeah, I might be wrong. I've really racked my brain. Yeah, but I might be wrong.
You're talking Davy McKinnon, maybe, or a Cammy
Dave
Fraser.
McKinnon didn't captain as much, but wow, if you talk about somebody who was a leader and showed passion and commitment, and oh, mate, he was what a man, what a player. But you know, he was unlucky with injury, but it was injury because of the way he played. He was not a kamikaze for a reason. And by the way, what a top man, huh?
Yeah, he is. Brilliant interview you done with him there recently.
Top man. I've spoke to him a couple of times after here. Top man. Anyway, talking about top men, we couldn't find any more, so we've been joined by Bob J. Evening, Bob J.
Good evening, troops. How are we all tonight?
Evening, Bob J.
I hope the chins are lifted a wee bit. So,
there's a few chins on this call, right? We have chins on the night. The Chinese one directly.
Yeah, I know. That big nose of mine struck oil last night. I was that low. Yeah. Oh boy. I went out with a big fat hang up with her and she fell down the stair. I thought EastEnders was starting. Thinking about it. Right. Enough of that, carry on. We've got to have a laugh. You must.
Good effort, good effort.
Things are bad. I'm going to tell me if you can, you probably can't. Why is your club staggering from day to day, mate? Boys, I should say. Why is it staggering from day to day? This is all you do. You put this YouTube on, you put the radio on, all you hear is just despondency everywhere. It's got to turn around sometime, surely. Are there moves put against us or what?
There was a bit of light at the end of the tunnel today, AK. Wasn't there? I mean, I know it's not perfect, but we're back at Ibrox, and hopefully by the league game, everybody's back in, and we're moving in the right direction, yeah? And all the people who thought that's a step in the right direction, isn't it?
Aye, that was a wee chink of sunlight that came through the clouds there. That and young Connor Barn getting called up to the Scotland team.
I'd rather that didn't happen, actually. In my opinion, I didn't care about them like the rest is. But, it's good news that we're finally getting back to Ibrox. We can maybe get back to normal, eh?
And by the way, they told us that the project was going to run that length of time and be back in after the international break. Nobody would have batted an eyelid.
No.
Yeah. You know.
Probably not. But I'm glad we're getting back to Ibrox.
It's a big thing. It's a big thing. It's a positive, and I'll tell you what, for the supporters that go, we've got issues and want to improve Ibrox, but geez, it knocks spots off Hampden. Ain't that right, Bridge? I can't ask you, AK. Bridge?
Yeah. I do agree with you, pal. Rangers getting back to Ibrox is just a fantastic thing. I think my own opinion at the time was we should have just played without the Copeland stand, which is what we're going to do.
The pitch wasn't ready, mate.
Yeah, I know, pal. I know, but we could do things and make things happen. It was only a small part of the pitch that wasn't ready. They could have done something in that area. I just don't know. I have to say, here we are, and they're telling us we're going back to Ibrox. Oh, but wait a wee minute, ding-a-ling-a-ling. The Copeland Road stand isn't available. So, does anybody know when the Copeland Road stand is going to open?
I'm hoping, mate, it'll be ready for the league game.
Right.
So everybody who wants tickets will get tickets for the Dundee game.
The Dundee game?
Aye.
I think that'd be a sellout.
Do you think a half 5 Saturday night kick-off for the League Cup is going to be more than 40,000 at Ibrox? don't know if history tells you that. Go and mute me, you're coughing. AK.
Listen, I'm not well. I'm coughing like hell here, so I'm just going to go off. Okay.
No, just you go and mute, mate. Just when you're coughing. Carry on, AK.
Aye, I think Bridgman's just struggling a wee bit for his hold. I hope he's going to be all right.
All that air conditioning, all that hot weather.
Aye, all the halves can down your neck. It's glorious when you're in that 30-degree sunshine, so it is. But no, I think I'm hoping for a good response, a good reaction for the Rangers support to get back and fill Ibrox here, because they'll all be desperate to get back in their own seats and whatever. Obviously, the Scotland punters aren't going to get back in their seats, but that's probably a week ahead of schedule for what Bennett tells us, and there isn't even a guarantee with that. So, look on the bright side, get back to Ibrox and support the team. I'll be looking for tickets for that one anyway, Ox. I'll get a link of that game, I think.
Right, good man. Just let me know and I'll post you the directions, mate. Yeah.
You're nasty to me tonight.
Always, mate. Always, isn't it? It's part of my villain, isn't it?
Part of the script, isn't it?
Well, you got the script, didn't you? You know the score.
Oh, always.
The best laugh is when people get the scripts mixed up, mate. That's the best shows.
Aye, well, I'm not. I'll say no more. Come on in, Bob Ger. Use your thoughts.
Right, okay. Listen, we're moving into the last part of the show and we're going to go to Bob Ger, see how he's feeling, but let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
No.
Can't get his staff these days.
Mr. Fox will be looking for the raise, AK.
Can't get his staff these days. Come on, Fox.
He said
Come back.
We just never heard that. That's all right. So come and join us, 0141 356 1972. Right, Bob Ger. There was a great point made on about leadership, and he wasn't having a go at James Tavernier. I think he was very fair in his comments, Martin, if that makes sense. AK, yeah?
Aye, like he was pointed out last night, there is a distinct lack of leadership in the team. I was looking back here at some of the old videos of the European games and sat and looked at them last night, and the difference then and the difference now is frightening, boys. What things change, and hopefully it'll change for the better. Somebody said today, I can't remember who it was, that football is a funny game. I think it was Graham Souness. Football is a funny game, and he wasn't quoting an old quote with Jimmy Greaves. He said it can change very quickly. That's exactly right. Then you get up on this league, it's no gone. You've got 80% of a championship to go yet. Then we've got 2 home games against them at Ibrox. We couldn't be any worse than what we were on Sunday. Let's be optimistic about everything. But as you say, we're going back to Ibrox. We're going back home, and let's get it together with the squad. Get everybody fit. That's a big thing, was, and all the catalogue of injuries we've suffered over the years is unbelievable. Get that stopped. Get a fully fit team on the park every week, ready to go for it. Beat the Dross and take them heed on the next time, and we can still go places. I'm convinced of that.
Optimism.
So, optimism's the one.
Aye, optimism. Listen, I get that we're hopeful that you and we're at the bottom and we're on the way up, if that makes sense, AK, yeah?
Aye, well, this is it. It's support are low now, and quite right. We're wondering what the direction is going. We're wondering about that performance. We're scathing about the result. 5 points behind in the league this early in the season, but I think we're still 1 point better off than we were at this stage last season. Believe it or not, if you're looking for a wee bit of optimism. But we really need to get our house in order. When you've got a 2-team league there, we really need to be starting putting something on them. Even if it's just that moral victory or whatever. That's how Gerrard started his campaign, didn't it? Once you got the first victory under his belt, we knew we could hurt them, and then they were fearful, and they weren't taking advantages, but they were prior to that, under Cassini and under Warburton. But unfortunately, we need to go back to them and reset ourselves. I think there's going to be a lot of honest conversations between the manager and the players and see the new direction we need to go. But we need to reset and come out fighting.
Do you see a connect between the manager and the players, mate?
At this moment in time, it doesn't look like it. There certainly wasn't a togetherness out in the park there, and people willing to fight for each other. But I'm putting a lot of that down to the youth in the team, and you're getting to know certain new team members and that. But the direction's going to come for the sidelines, isn't it? And that's debatable. The now, shall we say?
Yeah. Listen, it takes time sometimes to gel, and you need a springboard or a moment sometimes just to kick you on. That may be adversity, or sometimes it's a bit of luck, a last-minute goal, Bob. I don't know what, but we need some. But we have to go on a run of victories, mate, to move things on, and then we're going to have the European games. But domestically, we have to go on a run, Bob, Jerry.
Well, I think that's always possible for Rangers in this league. Always possible for them. And we've got a fortnight now, and we just sit, have a meeting, get it discussed, get everybody fit. As I said, get them in. Who's the next league game against the Hibs? We've got the cup tie against Dundee, haven't we? And then we've got a league game against the Hibs.
Dundee United.
Dundee United, aye. Week Sunday at Tannadice. Well, let's take it for there. That's all we can do. That's another starting point. Take it for there. Play well, get the victory, get a rake of victories doing, get us back in this championship. We're nowhere yet. But get us back up to where we should be, fighting them for top place. And I don't know, there's so much despondency about the club. We need really all that, need a bit of optimism. There's that word again. Bit of optimism into it. Let's get back to being Rangers, lads. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I'm so choked up with it all. Just like the rest of us. So hurt and so choked up with it all. Just get back to being Rangers. Who's second best to nobody? And that includes them.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got the injured players at the moment, Bob. You're obviously Ridvan's injured, and looks as if Condo's injured. Cortez and
Diamandi.
No, Cortez and
Iganami's just come back there.
They're coming back, yeah. So, but then we don't know how fit Balogun and Bowman proper are, if that makes sense.
I know. It's a worry, but when you look back at the show on Friday there, I think, and even when the team came out there at the weekend, I think that was a team that we were all happy with picking, but the problem is when you look at lying at the bench, you're bringing on McCausland, you're bringing on Lawrence, you're bringing on, who was it after that? Balogun and that, wasn't it? It's not a strong bench either. It's just reflective of where we are as a squad, isn't it? He's rebuilding, but it's. I think there are going to be tough days ahead, I'm afraid. But winning is the key to win all the support.
Aye, results, mate, results, and obviously in there you need performances as well. Yeah, EK and Bob Jack can come in after that. Is the manager under pressure, or have we been silly, EK?
Well, it depends what side of the fence you're looking at it. Of course he's under pressure. He's under pressure for results, and he's under pressure for that sort of performance. It's unacceptable. But the way Bennett was speaking at the start of the season, the fact that Clement signed an extension to his contract, that says it's basically, I'm sticking by our manager here. We believe in the process. with Neil Scoppin, and we've got to stick by the manager, because the refresh and that we're doing in the last 3 years, it's not working, Ox. If Gerrard left the club, we played them 16 times, so you can't just blame Clement. Once we've won in 16 efforts at them. So this isn't an overnight fix. We've got to fix our finances. We've got to bring the age of the squad down. But he's got to start getting things right on the park. But don't hit us with nonsense, because we'll not accept that. Gerrard, we gave him longer probably than most managers deserved, because we could see a difference on the park, and we actually started turning up in the games. That's where Clement needs to get it right. We can't keep going to Celtic Park and getting, pumped. Clement's only had one game at Ibrox. We finished 3 each, and he's celebrating a 3 each draw. That doesn't do him any favours. We beat St Johnstone there a couple of weeks ago, and he's jumping about with the UB. I don't think that did him any favours. Just go about your job in the right manner, and just give us a reason to believe in you, because the support will turn on him. And we've seen it in the past, and it's costing us a fortune, Knox, with compensation, where it's not just him, it's all his coaches are turning over the players again, and then we'll go to shuffle the boardroom. It's a basket case of club, innit?
He's right enough, AJ. The thing's got stagnant. It's the club's stagnated. We can't afford to sack the manager. We can't afford to change the playing staff big time. We've done that, and it's not been too successful. So we've just got to go with what we've got and try what we've got. We've just got to try some way, if we keep saying, get a tune out of them and make it better. There's some good players in there. I'm not going to recite them all. You know the squad as well as I do. But we're just going to have to go with what we've got. Get determination back in it. As you say, win a rake of games in this league, and that's not impossible for Rangers, and get us back in contention, real contention, to frighten them. Because to hear them, you think they were Real Madrid. There's a clown on the television, or on the radio, the other night, saying they're as good as Manchester City and Chelsea and Arsenal. Aye, right, mate. So that's your target. As I said last night, they're the benchmark. We've got to be as good as them. I don't know about being better than that. I wouldn't think so, the new, but we've got to be equal to them. That statistic was horrible, the new, by the way. 1 out of 16. And we keep going to that park here and keep collapsing. That's got to stop. Everything's got to stop. At least compete with them. That's what we're asking.
We're no learning, mate. We're no learning.
No.
Yeah. We're no learning. But listen, AK, I know I've said it quite a lot on here. I think this hangover started in March, mate. March or April, end of March. I think the Hearts game was the last, and I think after the Hearts game was the Motherwell game. I don't check that out, but I might be wrong. There might have been a European game in between it. And that was the day the hangover started, mate, and I don't think it shifted. Every time I'm getting a cold look as if a bottle I've brought out the fridge just to take a drink to feel better, the hangover kicks in again. Yeah, so Ross County was a Lucasade, and then it's kicked in again, mate, and it's no lifted.
No, I believe something happened behind the scenes, Ox. I really did, because the team went for playing really well. I think in the back of the Hearts beating them 5-0, really good performance, and then we get a chance to go tap the league. Motherwell at Ibrox. I mean, you couldn't have wished for a better fixture, and then we were out fought all over the park, and then it carried on to Dundee, it carried on to Ross. Well, the Dundee debacle as well didn't help. Ross County up there, performance up there, and then chance again to beat Celtic at Ibrox, couldn't do it. You keep failing in the games. It questions the mentality, and all of a sudden, for winning a cup and doing well in Europe, all of a sudden the dark cloud comes out of Ibrox again, and people start going negative on the manager. Where are we going as a team? And they start finger pointing. The scattergun comes out again. And it carries on. It carries on into a big snowball, and it ends up with the manager losing his job. But we've done that with Gio. We've done it with Bale. We need to stop doing this. But the only way we can stop doing it and give the support belief is with winning. Beating them, winning trophies. It's a two-team league. You've got to beat your opponent. If you don't beat your opponent, you're knackered. You just become fodder. You know, like a Hearts or an Aberdeen or a Dundee United or that. Winning a cup every now and again. That's not good enough for our club. We should never accept that.
Well, what we're not getting is we're not getting value for money out of the players we're recruiting, mate. Because they're still highly paid, mate. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, you still get big earners there, Tavernier and Butland, Matondo. You know,
Lawrence,
there's still some
Dessers,
big earners there.
Lawrence, Dessers,
absolutely.
Mate. Danilo. Aye. Yeah. Hadji.
Yep. Aye, Hadji's another one. But what do you make of that one now, Ox? Do you think we've sat down and try and resolve it? Or do you think they've already made the mind up on it?
It's a difficult one, mate. You know, if the manager's based it on a football decision, he doesn't want him in the squad, he's got to be allowed to build his own team, yeah. But listen, I had my question marks over Hadji. You know, he had some ability, I'm not denying that. And by the way, I always liked Hadji. I think he was very good for our club, the way he conducted himself up until the last few months. I think he was very, very unlucky. For a young man to get such a serious injury, so innocuously, he was unlucky. And I don't know if how he's recovered. All right, he played in the Euros. Would he get in the squad? Is his name, does it carry a lot of clout? Yeah. If you the same situation, the guy was called, I don't know. Alec Bobjer, would he get the same treatment? I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying. He carries commercial value, doesn't he? I mean, he's involved there in Pepsi adverts along with superstars in football. So I think his dad was expecting bigger and better things for him, and it's not materialised. It's not our fault, though. You know, it's... I don't know what you think yourself.
Very unlucky with the injury, and even then he wasn't ripping up trees, was he? He wasn't man of the match every week.
No, and he wasn't exactly starring with Alaves either.
No. Listen, what are you saying, Bobja?
See, the game, you get the father and son thing, and you hear the magical surname. You might have Jordi Cruyff. He was the same. He never lived up to his father. I'm afraid Yanis Hadji didn't live up to his father either. I think he's quite ordinary, he lacks pace, and you say he's got some ability, the boy. And when I mean some ability, I mean some. And he started off well with us with the 2 goals against Braga, and we thought, oh yeah, aye, fine. Where we go here, but nah, I'm afraid he's never been consistent enough for me. Yanis Hadji can depart Rangers any time he wants for me. I didn't see what he can bring to the table anyway. He's not any better than what we've got. I don't think so. Sorry, Yanis. That's my take on you, son.
There you go. It's a bit of indictment. We've not got a number 10, Bobja.
I would, as you mentioned earlier, we've bought one. You know, Barjani, that's the role that he's going to be playing. I just look at it. I try to look at it from Clement's point of view. You know, Gerrard bought him, didn't he? He was brilliant when he came in against Braga and that. Fantastic contribution for his winning 55. But as you say, his career seemed to nosedive after the bad injury. That's not his fault. It's not the club's fault. But Bielka had an opportunity there to bring him back, and he didn't. He put him out on loan. So you've got a player there that's been at our club for about 4.5 years. He's no Clement's player. Clement wants to play with his own players, but is it his decision, or is it a decision for the board or his contract? If it's a financial decision, then how do you look at it that way then? Do you want to get he's on seemingly 22 grand a year, which is probably roughly about $1 million a year. If you're going to give him another 6-7 grand on the top of that, you're talking another 320 grand when the club's trying to save money. You know, so I can look at it from that point of view, but you've got a player on 20 grand a week wasting away in a B team. It's still costing us that £1 million. Do you use that asset then and just, you know, don't cut off your nose to spite your face? It's a decision no for us to make, but the board and come on.
I want that decision to be the manager's one. I think he's made his mind up, mate. Yeah.
Aye. If that's the case, then fine.
I don't know, mate. I'm surmising, but that's what it looks like. Yeah. Yeah, and it's also what's also strange about football, Bob Jared. It's not a new thing. When you're knowing the team, you become a better player, don't you?
When you're knowing the team.
Aye, everybody says that. When he comes back, bring him back.
Aye, bring him back. He's this, he's that, he's better than what we've got. No, he isn't. I think, as I've just said 2 minutes ago, Yanis Hadji's contribution's been limited. And I don't think he can reach their levels again. It's probably better for the boy and better for the club that he moves on. He's not any better than what we've got. They brought in the boy Berjami. We'll still to see what he can do yet. And I understand Alex Lowry wants to stay. He's got a lot of potential, that lad. He can get it out. So the number 10 position, I'm not saying it's well covered or anything, but it's competently covered, if you know what I mean. I'll go high.
I don't know if Alex wanted to stay or he didn't want to go. They're two different answers to questions.
Carlisle United, I understand that. Aye. But no, Yanis Hadji can go for me. And there's a lot of players there at Ibrox. I'm sure that you're going to agree with me here that the weight of that blue jersey is too much for them, maybe. The expectation's too much for them. They can't carry it out.
We don't know, mate. But some people have had better seasons. I mean, if you look at this new, I don't think Buck would be great for 6 months for us. Yeah, he was fantastic the first 6 months. The next 6 months, let's just say he's been average. Dessers, we've had the debate about Dessers, and then if you take the rest of the team of the weekend, they've not played a lot of games for us apart from obviously Tav and Suter. Yeah, so we've got a lot of people that haven't played a lot of games for the Rangers. Obviously Jeffrey, Proper, Cherney, Matondo hasn't played a lot of games for us, but he's obviously. I think Tinkerbell's jersey would be too heavy for him, and then you've got the three guys in the midfield that haven't played a lot of games for us, if we're honest, AK. Yeah.
Aye, it's a fair point. It's a fair summary. And this has been our problem. We can't put a consistent team out there. The 6, 7, 8 guys that you're looking for to give you 7, 8, 9 out of 10 every week. That's what makes good teams. You know, Celtic's got a consistency in their team, and then they can bring on their subs when they want that. That's what good teams do. And we've not had that, and we've not had an influx of these Scottish players in the team as well, but knows what it means to pull on the jersey. You need to dig that wee bit deeper in certain situations against certain clubs, because they know you're going to come at you. I think Souness, listening, Bob Jared brought up Souness, he says, you had two type of player in Scotland when I played. You'd obviously a Celtic player who hated the club and get fired right in about you, or you had a Rangers supporter in the other team who was desperate to get tore into you, to impress, to hopefully get the move. He says, so Scottish football isn't as easy as what everybody was portraying it. And obviously the likes of John Brown and that got his move to Rangers on the back of playing well with Dundee. So they recognise that. It's about time, I think, we need to start looking at other players in the Scottish leagues for me.
Well, you've got to look at everybody. You know, who's to say, I don't know, we're looking at what the scouting operation entails, mate. There could be gems out there that you're missing. You know, it's maybe somebody that's played 50 games for Red United, right back, that if he was in another team, could take off, and I'm using that as an example. I hope the right back's mother for Air United does the phone in tomorrow night. But what I'm saying is, we don't know, mate. You don't know, and if you look back historically, we have brought players in for other clubs and maybe take a bit of time. You maybe brought them in for development, and then all of a sudden they become mainstays. I'm not going to say you're going to sign your whole team like that, AK, but it's something you should open your eyes to, mate.
Absolutely. But that's what I mean about supporters and questioning you, because we don't know the standard of player that we're bringing in. They don't know the club. I mean, they'll put something out there that's coming for the director, the kind of personnel guy, saying that they know about the club and the history of the club. That's just buzzwords that they're giving to the support. When you had a Conor Barnkin in, you knew exactly what he was coming in because he played against us. You know what I mean? You'd a Lewis Ferguson there, you John Brown, Andy Gorham. You could go back decades. We used to cherry pick a Jim Baxter out of Raith Rovers. You know, the guy was phenomenal. You'd Andy Robertson there that played against in the lower leagues. All right, he might not have came to us, but you could have asked the question and recognised the player. He goes to Dundee United, goes to Hull, and then he's a superstar now by Liverpool. We played against him in the lower leagues and we didn't recognise him. It's just stuff like that frustrates the support.
The support did.
Sorry?
Support did. Yeah.
Aye. But recognises Robertson.
Aye, because when this show, when back then, a long time ago, after that first game of Hampden, they were talking about the Queen's Park left back. So the support noticed it.
There you are. But McCoy's didn't he?
Well, maybe he knew. Maybe he knew we didn't know.
Nah, I get you.
Andy Robertson's a big time Celtic fan.
I think I was just saying that, Bob G.
Aye. Read between the lines, Bob.
Did you?
Aye.
Right. Forgive
I said
me.
maybe McCoy knew what we didn't know.
Aye, probably that.
Aye, but I don't disagree with you. Listen, you know, it's you scout 10 players, you might get, I don't know, one. I don't know the stats. I mean, it doesn't matter what market you're shopping in, you're going to have failures, AK, let's be honest.
Of course you do, but that's been our problem. We've had too many failures and big money failures, own big wages, give them big contracts, and then we can't get rid of them. That's a part of the reason why we're stuck with Hadji, isn't it? Because a club is no willing to come in and pay the same wages, and he's no willing to take a drop in wages. And this has been a big part of the issue in moving them on. He plays one more game. You can't move a player that's on 22 grand a week. You're certainly not going to move him when he's on 28 grand a week. So it's just one thing after another. It's been mismanagement for years, and it's just really coming home to roost now. That's where I feel sorry for someone.
Yes, that was a great statement. I fully agree with that.
We'll see where we're going, mate. We'll see where we're going, and I'm sure the debate will liven up in the next couple of weeks because it's the international break, mate, and there's no football at the weekend. Do you think that's a good thing for the team or a bad thing for the team? Do you think the manager will be glad there's an international break, or would you rather think he would be playing tomorrow night, Bob Chair?
I think it's a good thing. After all the bad defeat and the publicity surrounding it and the way everybody's feeling and supporters protests, although it wasn't a big protest, it was enough. And I think we're, just lick the wounds, wait till week Sunday and come out all guns blazing, as Rangers should do. And I think we can. So I think it's a good thing for to have the weekend off. Much as I hate international football, but for your situation, it's a good thing, I would think.
AK.
I have to agree with you there, Bob, too. I think we've got a chance there to reset. As I say, there needs to be a few honest conversations between the manager and the group of players to see what's the best way moving forward. I think he mentioned that the players, we've not got much of them now, internationals. Geez, you used to be left with about half a dozen. Now it's the other way about. You're lucky if you've got half a dozen get out. So he says, I think he's going to have a closed doors game. Maybe a chance to experiment on a potential new system or whatever, but we really need to get the nut down and work hard because what we're seeing now is well below standard of what we expect of our Rangers team.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Well, gentlemen, I don't know where the time's went. It's been a decent night tonight. Bob G, last word for your good self.
Well, just think about it this way, boys. It's a horrible thing to think, but we're on a precipice at the moment. A big precipice. One more defeat, and then you'll see the you-know-what hitting the pan, or the fan, or whatever it is. So, here's hope that doesn't happen. Not for a while, anyway. Let's hope it never happens. So, thanks for having me tonight again, guys. Really
Cheers,
enjoyable
Bob,
night. It always is on Rangers Radio. Always will be. We're
Cheers,
consistent anyway.
Don't know about that, mate. Don't know about that. Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. Good to hear for you always. Hey, Kate.
Nah, pleasure, Bob. Yeah, thanks for coming in again, pal. Oh, I enjoyed the show tonight with yourself and Bridge, the callers there. It's a difficult time for us now. A difficult shift, but at least we turned up, pal. So we just need to go on, mate, didn't we? And win the Rangers.
Yeah. Thanks to Jim, who joined us. Always good to hear from Jim. Of course, Martin came in and joined us. Bob J. Great to hear from all the callers. And thanks to Bridge, who tried to battle through his cough tonight. But the old air-conditioned holiday cough, I think's got to make it.
Aye, definitely. Sounded like a brandy cough, didn't it?
Aye, maybe he needs one. Thanks to your good self for doing the show. Old School Blue for doing the technicals. And a shout out to our folks. Thanks for listening, everybody. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. And it could be entertaining. Take it away, Old School Blue.